Please adhere to YouTube's selected guidelines before viewing the content of this video. I do not encourage or condone any products, actions, or behaviors shown in this video. All videos are produced in a safe, professional, and controlled environment. Please do not attempt to replicate any actions performed during video. All actions are performed by professionals.
Alrighty, so today I'm going to be smoking a comically large cigar for the first time, which I will admit I am very excited to do, just simply because I think that this is a funny thing to do. Why do I think that this is funny? Well, it's because the cigar that I'm going to be smoking is comically large, after all. That's why I think this is a funny thing to do. But when I had this idea to make this video a couple months back, I decided that I would need to hold off on making this video until I had a special occasion as an excuse to make this video. And so as such, I've been waiting to make this video for a while now. But I think I finally have a special occasion that is good enough to act as an excuse to smoke a comically large cigar. Because today's video, the video y'all are watching right now, is my 300,000 subscribers special. Thank you so much to each and every single one of y'all for 300,000 subscribers. I really, really, really do appreciate all of y'all's support, and I really am just so thankful that the channel has come as far as it has come over the last couple years or so. When I first started making YouTube videos just for fun, around about 9-10 years ago now, I never expected the channel to get to this level. And when I started making cigarette and tobacco videos routinely around about 3-4 years ago now, I never expected the channel to get to this level. But here we are today. And when I first saw the number, when I first saw that the channel actually hit 300,000 subscribers, it kind of sunk in. Like, I knew it was coming, of course. It wasn't unexpected. But it just still sunk in nonetheless. And it was one of those things where I was like, whoa, that's wild. That's crazy. That's absolutely insane. It's very surreal feeling, to say the least. I think that's probably the right way of describing how I'm feeling right now. I'm very happy, I'm very ecstatic, but more so than anything, I'm very surreal. I'm feeling very surreal, I think is really the best way I can put it. The channel being where it is right now feels so surreal, and I really am just so thankful for all y'all's support, kind words, and encouragement over the last couple years or so. I really, really, really do appreciate all y'all. And this video today, and the vast majority of the videos I make on my channel today, would quite literally not be possible without y'all. And I certainly wouldn't be able to make videos every single day like I do these days without y'all's support as well. It simply would not be possible for me to do. But thanks to y'all, I'm able to make videos I love making every single day, and thanks to y'all, the channel is where it is at today. Yeah, it's just wild, it's just surreal. Thank you so much for all y'all's support. Once again, I really do appreciate it. I'm not very good at displaying thanks, frankly put. It's just not something I'm very good at, but I hope the level I'm thankful of, no, that's not the right way of putting it. I hope my thanks came across to y'all perfectly fine. Let me just put it that way. I really am very thankful for all y'all's support and everything like that. I'm getting a little bit sappy, though, I will admit. To say the least, I think I have a good excuse to smoke a comically large cigar in today's video. And so as such, I'm going to be doing exactly that, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to be doing exactly that. Thank you so much to all y'all once again for all y'all's support. I really do appreciate it, and I am very thankful and very happy the channel is where it is today, and I'm very thankful that the channel has hit 300K, and I'm looking forward to seeing what the future holds for the channel as well. Thank you so much once again to all y'all for all y'all's support. Before I go ahead and get any more sappy though, I should probably go ahead and start covering what this cigar right here actually is. So what is the comically large cigar that I'm going to be smoking in today's video? Well, the comically large cigar that I have with me today is the JFR Lunatic Belicoso 8x80 Maduro cigar, which cost me roughly $14 at a cigar shop near me. This cigar right here was made in Nicaragua, and it has a Mexican San Andreas Wrapper along with a Nicaraguan Binder and Filler as well. I bought this cigar right here without doing any research on it beforehand at all. I bought this cigar only because it's comically large. However, before this video, I did decide to do some research on this cigar, and I did decide to read some reviews on this cigar to see what people had to say about it. And actually, people had some pretty good things to say about this cigar. I was expecting it to just be a gimmick cigar that was just like really big, and it's just like, haha, it's so funny, it's a comically large cigar, but it's not actually any good. No, apparently this cigar is actually really, really, really solid, according to people online, at least. Apparently, this cigar gives you a really good hit in nicotine. Apparently, it's super strong, which makes sense because it's insanely big, if I do say so myself. But apparently, this cigar also has a really nice taste. And in specific, the taste that many get from this cigar is that of an earthy, spicy, nutty, sort of graham crackery taste as a whole. I'm thinking there might be some cream in there as well. Overall, sounds like a very interesting taste if I do say so myself. And so as such, well, that is one more reason why I am excited to smoke a comically large cigar in today's video, and it's one more reason why I'm excited to smoke this cigar right here in specific. But I do suppose I can't actually smoke a comically large cigar in today's video if I don't actually, well, smoke a comically large cigar. And so as such, without further ado, let's go ahead and now start covering the packaging that the cigar is all in. Then after that, I'm going to go ahead and get the cigar all out. I'm going to go ahead and let you guys know what the cigar actually looks like, what it feels like, what the quality is like, and what it smells like. Then after that, I'm going to go ahead and get the cigar cut. I'm going to go ahead and start lighting up the cigar itself. And then after that, I'm going to go ahead and take a couple puffs and actually get to smoking a comically large cigar for the first time. But first off, as said, we got to go over the packaging, which is very simple packaging. I bought this cigar as a single, so it didn't come in a box, to me at least. So the packaging this cigar is in is just a very basic cellophane/plastic piece of packaging, I definitely have to say. Without further ado, let's go ahead and just rip that. And now without further ado, let's just go ahead and just get this all opened up. And let's go ahead and see if I can actually get this cigar all out. And man, this cigar is huge. Let me tell y'all what, this cigar is huge. I'm gonna go ahead and just take this out. And man, this cigar weighs a bunch too. Let me tell y'all what, I'm gonna go ahead and put this plastic in my backpack. I gotta make sure I'm not littering or anything like that. And now, without further ado, let's go ahead and smell this cigar to start off. And I'd have to say, as a whole, I'm getting a very nice sort of mildly sweet, earthy scent, almost like a sort of farmyardy scent. Yeah, very nice sort of earthy, sweet, farmyardy scent as a whole. Smells really, really, really nice. I'd want to say there's some hints of cream in there as well. Whew, yeah, it smells pretty good. Sort of a very nice, I'd have to say, as said, sort of mildly sweet, farmyardy scent with a little bit of a sort of sweetness in there as well. Very much a sweet, earthy scent as a whole. Yeah, really, really, really nice smell coming off this cigar, I ain't gonna lie, y'all. Let's go ahead and take a look at the actual look of the cigar, though. We can see there's a band up here, and then there's another band on the bottom. The band on the bottom is just that of a sort of like ribbon or something like that kind of thing that actually kind of shines very interestingly, if I do say so myself. Let's go ahead and take a look at the actual band itself right here, though. We can see the band itself right here. It just has a bunch of white, a bunch of silver, and a bunch of, I'd have to say that's dark blue. That is dark dark blue. It almost looks black in this lighting, but it is indeed dark blue. And we can just see the entire band has a border of silver going around it. Then right under the top border of silver on a blue background, it just says JFR right there, which supposedly stands for just for retailers. Then under the JFR text right there, we can just see there's another little bit of silver right there. And then there's a white background under that silver. We see a little bit of an intricate design like right there. I definitely have to say another intricate design down there. Then in the middle, it just says Lunatic right there, which is a very accurate name for this cigar. You do kind of have to be a little bit of a lunatic to smoke a cigar this big, frankly put. That's pretty much all there is to the actual look of the band itself. Let's go ahead and cover the actual look of the cigar itself now. We can see the look of the cigar itself. It's got a darker wrapper shade than not, I definitely have to say. And the quality of the cigar is pretty good. I'm not seeing any holes. I'm not seeing any sort of filler or anything like that kind of thing, where it kind of looks like they were kind of trying to fill something in, like maybe something like right there, but nothing bad by any means. The cap looks like it's put on pretty well as well. As a whole, this cigar smells pretty good, looks pretty good, seems to be pretty good quality as well. Well, I do suppose there's only one more thing left for me to do before I go ahead and actually get this little bit all off, and before I go ahead and actually get the cigar all cut and actually get to smoking. And that's to actually just show y'all how big this cigar is when compared to a normal size lighter, because I want to give y'all some context for just how large this cigar actually is. So how large is this cigar? Well, this is a normal size lighter, and that's just how big this cigar is. Wait. No. This cigar is not that big when compared to this lighter. That's really weird. Why is this cigar not that big when compared to this? Oh, wait. It's because I wanted to be funny and I wanted to pull out my comically large lighter. When compared to a normal sized Bic lighter though, this cigar really is just huge. It's massive, I ain't gonna lie y'all. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get this ribbon down here all off. Just like that, not too hard by any means. And now I'm gonna go ahead and grab my cutter, which I have right here. This is just a basic like $2 cutter. Ooh. Hopefully that will do. That is a much bigger draw than I was honestly planning on. Hopefully that will do though. But there we go. This draw for this cigar is like the size of a normal cigar. Now that I've cut the cigar, I do suppose, without further ado, it's now time for me to go ahead and get this cigar all lit up. And I do suppose it's now time for me to actually go ahead and get to smoking a comically large cigar for the first time. Yes, sir, you know what I'm saying? Or I do suppose I should probably use my comically large lighter to actually light my comically large cigar now, shouldn't I? It's not working very well. It's kind of windy today, in all honesty. It's not working very well. All right, we're gonna go back to the torch lighter. That was a little bit rough. I know I'm not really lighting up the cigar properly. I don't really care, in all honesty. I'm lighting up the cigar the easiest way because this is a huge cigar and I just want to get it lit up, in all honesty. And I think it's mostly lit up. I'm gonna just go for one more round. Whoop, some ash falling on me. That's okay. There we go. I think it's all good to go. I think it's all good to go. We'll have to find out. The draw right off the bat, quite heavy if I do say so myself. The airflow itself, not bad by any means. I will admit the airflow is not bad. It's just that the draw is really heavy just due to how large this cigar is. But honestly, it's not the heaviest draw in the world. I've definitely had cigars with heavier draws, and smaller cigars with heavier draws, of course, as well, which is a little bit odd. A little bit more rough than not immediately as well, I definitely have to say. But the taste I'm getting right off the bat is quite nice. It's a sort of mildly sweet, mildly spicy, earthy, sort of slightly graham crackery taste right off the bat. It's a nice taste, I definitely have to say. Not bad at all, if I do say so myself. Not bad at all right off the bat. Definitely not getting an insane amount of smoke from this cigar. Really no big surprise in all honesty. But I'm going to try to take some really deep puffs so I can get a comically large amount of smoke from my comically large cigar. It's a little bit rough, though. It's a little bit rough, that is for sure. All right, I'm not getting a lot of smoke. I am not getting a lot of smoke, not one bit. I think I'm probably going to have to give up on getting a lot of smoke from this cigar because I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen in all honesty. As a whole, though, not a bad cigar right off the bat, if I do say so myself. It's huge, but it actually feels oddly comfortable in hand, holding it like this and whatnot, in all honesty. It tastes pretty decent. It's quite rough, but I'm expecting it to kind of smooth out. I haven't smoked a cigar in the last couple days, so I'm thinking it's probably going to smooth out a little bit better than not as I continue smoking and whatnot. It's just a little bit rough because I'm not used to smoking cigars and not inhaling as of this moment in time, but you know, it's not a bad cigar so far. Really, I'm not getting a lot of smoke, though. I am really not getting a lot of smoke, though, in all honesty. But is this a funny thing to do? Dang right, I think this is a funny thing to do. I think it's hilarious to smoke a cigar this big. I'm really not getting much smoke at all, if anything. I'm really also not feeling much from the cigar right now either, just because I feel like I'm not getting much smoke right now. I am getting my words all jumbled up. That is what it is, though. As a whole, so far, this cigar, it's okay. It's comically large. I think it's funny to smoke by all means. I think it's hilarious to smoke, but certainly not the best cigar I've ever had, so far at least. But it's not disgusting. It's not horrible. It's definitely worth smoking in my personal opinion. I just need to get better with cigars with kind of drawing more deeply. I'm used to kind of drawing out of like a pipe or out of a cigarette more than I am out of cigars. I don't tend to smoke cigars all that often, whereas like these days I've been smoking a decent amount of pipe and a decent amount of cigarettes, of course, as well, both on and off video. Cigars, not so much, and I'm not very good at kind of drawing deeply with cigars. And I just tried to draw really deeply there, and nothing. Nothing at all. I got nothing from that, frankly put. I think the thing is that this cigar, the ring gauge is so big, and it's so long, is that even if you inhale deeply, it still really doesn't do much when it's all the way over here. I'd reckon once you get to like about the halfway point, it probably starts getting like really heavy though. That's kind of what I'm thinking, but initially, I'm barely able to get any smoke. I will admit, while I did see more positive things than not about this cigar online, I do still think this cigar is more of a gimmick than not. I don't think it's a cigar that you're meant to smoke very often. I think it's just meant to be something that's more funny than not as a whole. The size of the cigar is just ridiculous, frankly put. But I will give this cigar credit. It is burning, it is staying lit, and the ash looks to be pretty decent quality. But I do still think that this cigar is much more of a gimmick than not. It's just too dang big. Even though I'm not really feeling much from this cigar, and even though I'm not really getting too much from it, this is still much more fun than not, just because it's just too funny to me, in all honesty. It's just too funny. This is not a cigar you can kind of just place in between your teeth. You really cannot do that very well. I really am getting like nothing from this cigar though. I don't want to say it's frustrating, but it is a little bit frustrating. And I was getting a little bit of smoke at the very beginning, but I really don't feel like I'm getting any now. I don't want to crack that, but maybe I should like poke some holes in there or something like that kind of thing and see if I can try to get a better airflow. Maybe this is just too, maybe the cap is just too tightly packed. Maybe I'm supposed to like cut, maybe I was supposed to cut like a little bit more. I'm not sure, in all honesty. Maybe I'll get out my pipe tool and try just kind of poking a couple holes, see if that helps a little bit. So I'm just gonna grab my cigar tool, my pipe tool, grab the middle thing right there, wipe it off just before I go ahead and use it. And I'm just gonna put it in just like that, just kind of wedge it in there, just like that, just a little bit. Much better, much better. All right, I'm gonna go and do that one more time, maybe two more times. There we go. I'm so glad I did that because now I'm actually getting an okay airflow. Very, very, very glad I did that. It kind of felt like there was something in the way. Like there was kind of like a stem in the way or something like that kind of thing. Maybe that was kind of the issue. I'm not sure. Or I was just starting to hit the actual filler itself that's not in this area. I'm not sure. But either way, the airflow now is better than it was. So I cannot complain. I don't care if I damage the insides, the guts of the cigarette. This is not a cigarette. This is a cigar. I don't care if I damage the guts of the cigar just a little bit more so than not. That is perfectly fine, you know what I'm saying? Perfectly fine. I bought this cigar yesterday though, and when I walked into the cigar shop, I knew that they sold these cigars because I had been there previously. I walked in and they were like, hey, do you know what you're looking for today, or do you need any help? Just let us know. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm just looking to get the comically large cigar that y'all sell. I literally just said that deadpan to them, and they were like, oh, that cigar. All right, they knew exactly which one I was talking about, and it was this one right here, which I just thought was too amusing. Too dang funny, if I do say so myself. Now that I've actually got an okay airflow, I am actually starting to feel a little bit of a cigar buzz as well. Now that I'm actually getting some smoke in my mouth and whatnot kind of thing, I'm actually already starting to feel a little bit of a nice relaxing cigar buzz. Certainly no complaints on my behalf. The taste I'm getting from this cigar right now is very much that of a sort of slightly, there's a little bit of spice in there. It's very mild though. It's a very mild, sort of spicy, earthy, farmyardy, almost graham crackery sort of taste, I definitely have to say. Very, very, very nice taste as a whole. Very enjoyable taste, and a taste that I do really like. It's a little bit boring frankly put. It's not the most interesting taste in the world. There's levels to it, but really what I said is all there is to it, in all honesty. I'm not noticing anything else. So it is a little bit boring, don't get me wrong. There's not like tons of flavor, but one of the things people did say online is that it is a good cigar. It does have flavor, it's not bad, it does smoke well, but it is kind of boring, especially for a cigar that's this big. That is one thing that people did acknowledge online, and I totally see what they mean. I gotta admit, not a bad cigar. Not a bad cigar. I think I might try to grab a little bit of a screenshot real quick. And I've actually got to be careful. Dang. I've actually got to be a little bit careful because I started feeling a little bit, I was trying to really take like really deep puffs there, and it started, my body was like, nah, stop doing that, bruh. Stop taking such deep puffs. It started making me not feel so good. Been smoking this cigar for roughly 20 minutes now. We're only to about there, which is actually quite a bit for a cigar this big, in all honesty. I think I might try to open up the airflow more. I want like just tons of smoke. I want a comically large amount of smoke coming from my comically large cigar. That's a little bit better. I can definitely say though, now that I'm actually getting some smoke, this cigar is definitely starting to hit. I'm definitely starting to get some nicotine. Certainly no complaints on my behalf, that is for sure. I am very thankful that I decided to bring a little bit of a snack with me today. Definitely a good idea to bring a snack if you're smoking this cigar, because you're going to be sitting there for quite a while. Yeah, the taste as a whole, though, it's not doing too much to keep me interested. It's just kind of, the nicotine is kind of flowing in now, which is what's keeping me really hitting the cigar and whatnot, I definitely have to say. But the taste, even though it's not the most interesting in the world, it does still taste pretty good. As said, it's that of a sort of mildly spicy, mildly sweet, sort of farmyardy, earthy taste. And I'd have to say there was a little bit more to it than just that, and that I've started noticing over the last couple minutes or so. And I'd have to say that the taste as a whole is very much that of a sort of spicy, slightly sweet, creamy, sort of graham crackery, earthy, farmyardy taste as a whole. That's very much the taste you get in the first third of the cigar. And it's not a bad taste at all, but it is very one-dimensional. There's not a lot going on. It's a very one-dimensional taste. It's one of the most boring tastes I've had from a cigar as of late, but it doesn't taste bad. The cigar doesn't taste bad by any means. It's just very one-dimensional. I certainly am feeling quite buzzed now, though. Do I still think that it's funny to smoke a comically large cigar now that I'm actually smoking one? Yeah, I do still think it's funny. I do still think it's funny. However, I don't think this is something I would want to do on any routine occasion, frankly put. No way. No way would I want to do this on any routine occasion. This is just too big, but it's still really funny. It's still really funny in my personal opinion. I will admit, though, I gotta take a little bit of a piss. I might stand up real quick and see if there's anybody around, because there's a porta-john right over there, and I might just leave my cigar here and everything else here, and I might just go take a piss really quickly, as long as I think nobody's gonna run up on me and steal all my stuff. So let me just stand up, make sure there's nobody around. As soon as I start talking about that, somebody decides to drive up. They drove not this way. Good moves, good moves. I think I'm gonna go and put my cigar down on the ashtray I have right here, and I'm just gonna leave it burning just for a moment, and I will be right back. I gotta go take a piss. Ah, much better. Let me tell y'all what, much better. I'm so glad I opted to bring a little bit of an ashtray with me, even though it's not really acting as an ashtray, it's just more of a cigar holder for the moment, because the cigar is just so dang big. But I am glad I decided to bring a ashtray with me nonetheless, that is for sure. Oof. This is a lunatic cigar, I ain't gonna lie, y'all. I feel like a cartoon mobster right now. I feel like Tony Soprano right now. I feel like Hugh Hefner. Did Hugh Hefner smoke cigars or did he smoke pipe? I think he smoked both. I feel like Hugh Hefner right now. I feel like Winston Churchill right now. Just trying to think of everybody smokes cigars. Kingpin from Spider-Man, does he smoke cigars? I feel like Kingpin right now. Shaq smokes cigar. I think Shaq smokes. This is. I was actually thinking. I forgot I was gonna say that. This is the only cigar that Shaq could smoke. I think Shaq actually smokes cigars. This is the only cigar Shaq could smoke that actually looks like a normal cigar. Every other cigar looks like a cigarette to him. This is the only cigar that looks normal to Shaq. That's why JFC makes this cigar. It's only for Shaq. This cigar, though, while I did mention the taste, it is very basic. This cigar is also, at the same time, very forgiving, though. You can really just puff, 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 and not worry about it really one bit, frankly put. It's really not a big deal at all to just puff, puff, puff. It's very forgiving, and I wonder if it's so forgiving just due to how large it is. It struggles to heat up, and so, just because of how big it is, I wonder. And so as such, it's a very forgiving cigar. Like, even if you start kind of puffing a little bit too fast, it gets a little bit more spicy, but not like insanely so by any means. It's overall surprisingly forgiving. Very, very, very forgiving cigar. Very interesting, if I do say so myself. Much more forgiving than some smaller cigars I've tried in the past. I think I'm going to try blowing through the cigar, just real quick. That's a pretty comically large amount of smoke right there. I just can't get over how big this cigar really is, though. It's just huge. It's massive, let me tell y'all what. Well, I think we're almost to the second third of the cigar, so I should probably go ahead and cover how the first third has been as a whole. So what has the taste been like for the first third? I'd have to say the taste as a whole has been very much that of a very slightly spicy. I keep saying spicy as the first thing I say, but that does not mean it's the most intense taste in the world by any means. The most intense taste, I'd have to say, is very much that of a sort of sweet, creamy taste in my personal opinion. That's very much the most intense taste as a whole. Then under that, you get a sort of, I'd have to say, almost brown sugar, graham cracker, earthy sort of farmyard taste. And then under that, you get a sort of very slightly sort of creamy, spicy taste as well. And that's very much what the taste is like for the first third of the cigar, I definitely have to say. The overall draw of the cigar and airflow of the cigar in the first third, the draw is very heavy just due to the size of the cigar, and the airflow is not constricted per se, but it's a little bit more constricted than not just due to the size of the cigar as well, which means that the draw is just a little bit more constricted than not as well. But if you open it up just a little bit, it ain't so bad by any means. And I'd have to say roughness, smoothness wise, the first third as well, it's a little bit smoother than not. It's definitely not super rough by any means, although this cigar was definitely a little bit rougher than not when I was first getting it lit up. And strength wise, oof, this cigar definitely like a solid 3 out of 4. 3 out of 4. It's not quite the strongest thing I've ever had. It's not quite as strong as like pure Nicotina Rustica by any means, but it's still decently strong nonetheless. I can't believe it's taken me an hour and 10 minutes to actually start talking about what the first third of the cigar is like. But that's very much what the first third of the cigar is like. Yeah. But the scenery that I'm looking at right now, beautiful, beautiful scenery. It's a good time. It's a good time. But I am starting to feel a little bit chilly, so I might put on my gaiter and my beanie and put my hood up and whatnot. I was feeling a little bit better earlier, but I think it's actually starting to get a little bit colder now. Even though I'm sitting in the sun, it's still feeling a little bit cold, so I'm gonna go ahead, put my gaiter on, put my beanie on and everything like that, and whatnot. Oh. Just like that. Definitely feeling a little bit better. It's been pretty warm these last couple days, so I actually haven't been wearing my beanie and gaiter pretty much at all these last couple days. But definitely needed today. Excuse me. I was literally just thinking, I'm surprised the ash hasn't fallen onto me yet. It just fell all onto me. That's so much. Okay. All right. It's no biggie. It's no biggie at all. I'm going to go and put my cigar down. I'm going to stand up. The ash landed in my seat as well. It's all over my pants. All over my pants. Oh, that's too funny. All over my jacket. That's too amusing. Well, now there's not only a yogurt stain on the sleeve, there's also a ash stain. Although, actually, the ash came off better than the yogurt did, because the yogurt's still very much there. Well, that was the first ash of the cigar. An hour in, literally almost to the T, almost to the dot, almost an hour. Yeah, almost exactly an hour in. The first ash of the cigar. That's wild. That is crazy. Now that the cigar is ashed, though, it definitely does not look as comically large as it once did. Still looks pretty large. It's still a very, very, very big cigar, but it's definitely not as comically large as it was before. Real question, though, is this cigar scrumdiddlyumptious? I'd have to say that it is. I'd have to say that it is. The taste of the second third, though, is definitely very nice. I'm not sure whether it's one-dimensional yet, but it's definitely at first not coming across as one-dimensional as the taste was in the first third. It's definitely a little bit different. And the taste I'm getting is that of a sort of very nice, sort of peanutty taste. I'm getting a nice sort of sweet, creamy, peanutty taste with some other stuff going on in there as well. I'm not sure what exactly. There's still a little bit of spice in there. Not much, though. There's still that creamy spice. As I said, there's not much going on. I still feel like there's an earthy taste in there to an extent as well. That sort of graham cracker taste is not in there nearly as much as it was. The taste has definitely changed. I'm definitely into the second third now. I'm just not certain about what the taste is actually like, and I'm going to have to figure that out. And definitely, as you puff really, really hard, really, really fast, the taste definitely does degrade just a little bit. That is for sure. Definitely the best taste you get is when it's not super hot kind of thing. But it is still a very forgiving cigar, even in the second third. It was a very forgiving cigar in the first third. It's very forgiving in the second third as well. Even when you're puffing away, puffing away, puffing away, as I just was. Very forgiving as a whole. A very easy cigar to smoke. Really, the hardest part about smoking the cigar is getting it lit up and kind of trying to make sure the airflow is all good. It's a very easy cigar to smoke. It's one of the easier cigars I've smoked as of late. Not bad at all. And no, it's not a bad cigar. It's more one-dimensional than not, but the second third, the taste is not terribly one-dimensional. It's not bad. It's not bad at all. But what are my final thoughts for the taste for the second third of this cigar? I'd have to say the taste as a whole is very much that of and this is in order of intensity, so in order of taste intensity. So the most intense taste is very much that of a creamy, sweet, almost peanutty, sort of almost peanut buttery, sort of creamy, sweet taste, I definitely have to say. A little bit roasted peanut in there as well, but not anything to any significant degree. I do expect as I continue smoking the cigar, it to get more roasted in peanut. I do expect the roasted peanut taste to get more intense, let me just put it that way. But right now, it's sort of a mildly sweet, creamy, peanut buttery, sort of creamy taste with a little bit of roasted peanut in there as well. Then under that, there is a little bit of a sort of, I'd have to say, brown sugar and sort of like slightly chocolatey taste, which is very interesting. But it's definitely sort of the next most significant taste behind the sort of peanut buttery taste is that of a sort of, I'd have to say, brown sugar, chocolate sort of taste. A little bit creamy, once again, a little bit milky, but not insanely so. A little bit more dark chocolatey than not, but at the same time a little bit creamy, a little bit milky at the same time as well. Then under that, there's a very sort of light-ish, sort of creamy, spicy taste. Almost like a sort of, trying to think of the right way to put the spice. Just kind of a peppery sort of spice, I definitely have to say. And then under that, you get a little bit of a sort of graham crackery, earthy, sort of farmyardy taste as a whole. And then under that, there's a little bit of sort of a wet leaf-like taste. A little bit, not much. And that's kind of what the taste is like as a whole in the second third. Definitely different than the first third. Definitely much less one-dimensional as well. And definitely a nice taste. Definitely a nice taste for the second third of the cigar. Not bad at all. Man, this video has just flown by though, frankly put. It really has. I can't believe I've been sitting here for 2 hours. I should probably stand up and like walk around for a moment or something like that kind of thing. Oh man. It's not good to sit down for too long, you know? As I'm continuing to smoke the cigar, the sort of roasted peanutty taste is definitely getting more intense. It's definitely coming through more and more and more and more and whatnot, which is not really a terribly big surprise. I've had a couple cigars where it's a sort of roasted peanut taste, and it just gets more and more and more intense as you get towards the end. And I feel like this cigar very well might be the same as well. And definitely as I'm continuing to smoke, it's definitely getting a little bit more spicy, a little bit more spicy. Not insanely so, but definitely a little bit more spicy, nonetheless. For $14, though, you get a lot of bang for your buck. You do get a lot of bang for your buck for $14, I ain't gonna lie, y'all. And as I've continued to smoke, definitely the airflow, it's not quite opening up by any means, but since there's just less space for the smoke to go through, for the air to go through, it's definitely opened up in that way. And as I have been smoking as well, the draw has definitely gotten a little bit easier as well. I'm sure helped by the fact that I've been poking holes in the end of the cigar as well. I'm sure that helps the fact that the cigar has a better airflow than not now. This cigar would pair really well with peanut butter cookies, especially in the second third. This cigar in the second third would also pair amazingly well with like Reese's peanut butter cups or like peanut butter chocolate kind bars with like chocolate chips in them. The first third, it would pair really well with like chocolate and s'mores. I think like s'mores, it would pair really well with the first third. But like with the second third, you definitely want like peanut butter cookies or like Reese's cups or something like that kind of thing. I think we're over the I think we're over the halfway mark now though. People are saying that this cigar is like really strong, and I will admit it is strong. This cigar is pretty decently strong, but it's not kick my ass strong. I mean, like, it's strong. It's giving me a good buzz, but it's not like kicking my ass where I need to take a break, taking hits and whatnot. Not by any means. It's not kicking my ass like Nicotine or Rustica or anything like that kind of thing by any means. But it's definitely still a strong cigar, and I'm definitely still feeling much more buzzed than not. So overall, at almost the 2-hour mark, what are my thoughts on smoking a comically large cigar? Is this something I would want to do again? Would I want to smoke a comically large cigar again? I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind smoking a comically large cigar again, in all honesty. It's definitely not something I would want to do on a routine basis. For sure not. It's just too dang big. But it's really funny to do. I thought that smoking a comically large cigar was funny at the beginning of this video, and I still think it's funny now. You know what this tastes like, in all honesty? Peanut brittle. Like peanut brittle with toffee. That's kind of what it tastes like. Like, it's got that peanutty taste with a little bit of roasted peanut, a little bit of a chocolatey taste, a little bit of toffee taste. It's kind of like peanut brittle. That's kind of what it tastes like. That's just now clicking. It's like, yeah, it's like peanut brittle. Thinking it should be another half an hour until I get to the band. And you know what? Once I get to the band, I'm thinking this cigar is probably gonna have a spicy finish, so I'm gonna be all good anyway. I feel like I've gotten my money's worth from this cigar, and I feel like I already know how it's gonna end, in all honesty. I think it's just gonna be a spicy finish where that sort of spicy, creamy taste is gonna become the most intense taste, along with that roasted peanutty taste. That's my personal guess. I very well could be wrong. Wouldn't surprise me if I am, but I also wouldn't be surprised if I was right. So I'm not too stressed about figuring out what the third of this cigar is really like, in all honesty. I think I already know how this cigar is going to end. I'm just going to end with me not finishing the entire cigar, because this is a comically large cigar after all. I can definitely say, though, based off this experience, I'm not a really big fan of really long and really thick cigars, but they are funny to smoke every once in a while. Well, I think I'm gonna go ahead and take one more hit. I'm not gonna step out the cigar quite yet, but I'm gonna take one more hit, and then after that, I'm gonna go ahead and start giving you guys my final thoughts on this cigar right here. So, now that I've taken that hit, let's go ahead and now start covering my final thoughts on this cigar. The packaging as a whole, not bad by any means, but it's just a basic cellophane to kind of make sure the cigar itself is in good condition and everything like that kind of thing. The look of the cigar itself, it looked pretty nice. The band as a whole has a nice look to it as a whole, but it's not like super luxury by any means, but it's a pretty nice look nonetheless. There's a little bit of ribbon on like the bottom where you're supposed to light it and everything. That looks pretty decent as well, kind of thing. Overall, not a bad looking cigar. The wrapper shade is that of a darker wrapper shade than not. It is a Mexican San Andreas Wrapper, which I've heard tend to be a little bit darker than not, if I remember correctly. So that does make sense. The overall quality of the cigar, pretty decent as a whole as well. And the smell of the cigar was really nice as well. Got a very nice earthy sort of, I want to say, graham crackery smell, if I remember correctly. And I'd have to say, cutting the cigar, definitely very easy, not hard to cut at all by any means. Lighting up the cigar, also surprisingly easy. I've definitely had cigars that are harder to light up than this one right here, although this cigar was by no means the easiest cigar I've ever lit up. As a whole, once you actually got to smoking, the draw, the airflow was very, not constricted, it was just, there's so much that the smoke has to go through that the airflow itself comes off as being a little bit constricted. And the draw as a whole at the very beginning, very heavy. However, as you continue smoking, the airflow definitely opens up and allows for an easier draw. And now at the point I'm in now at the point of the cigar that I'm at right now, the draw is very, very, very easy. The taste I got for the first third of this comically large cigar right here was very much that of a sort of creamy, sweet, earthy, farmyardy, graham crackery sort of taste as a whole, with a little bit of spice in there as well, a little bit of a creamy spice in there as well, not much though. Then in the second third, the very beginning of the second third, it was a very nice, pleasantly sweet, peanut buttery, sort of chocolate taste, I definitely have to say, that kind of evolved into a peanut brittle, like roasted peanut brittle sort of taste, still creamy. A little bit of a toffee taste in there as well, still a little bit of an earthy taste, still a little bit of a graham cracker taste, still a little bit of that spicy taste in there as well, still creamy, spicy taste as well. Then as you continue smoking your way through the second third, it then evolves into being more of a spicy, roasted peanut brittle, sort of creamy taste as a whole. I assume as you continue going through the third, it just gets more and more and more and more and more spicy. But, you know, that's very much what the taste of this cigar is like as a whole, I definitely have to say. Would I buy one of the JFR Lunatic Maduro Belicoso 8x80 cigars again for $14? Would I buy one for $14 again? 100%. I totally would. Not on a routine basis by any means. Not on a routine basis by any means. But I would totally buy this cigar again if I was going camping with friends, or if I was going to be sitting around a campfire, if I was at a party and I was going to be hanging out outside for like 4 or 5 hours kind of thing. I'd totally get one of these cigars to just kind of puff away on while I'm kind of just chilling with friends and whatnot kind of thing. To smoke on my own time when I'm by myself, I would not buy another one of these again. Frankly put, it's just too much to smoke by myself when I'm not hanging out with anybody else. But if I'm hanging out with other people, I do think that this cigar could be really good. And this cigar was really good. I really did enjoy it. And I think definitely $14 is not a bad price for this comically large cigar right here. So I would definitely buy this cigar again. But this cigar, much more funny than not to smoke, and I totally would not mind smoking an even larger cigar than this one right here. Don't know if I would enjoy it though, but I wouldn't mind trying to give it one to smoke, that is for sure. As a whole, not a bad cigar, but what is the rating I want to give this comically large cigar right here? Well, I'm thinking it deserves a solid 2 out of 4. Not bad, a little bit one-dimensional. Good cigar as a whole. To my preference taste-wise, it's just too dang big. Too dang big for me to want to buy on a regular basis, and so as such, it's getting a 2 out of 4. However, if you like really big cigars and really long smoke sessions, I do think that this could easily be a 3 out of 4, and while I did give this a 2 out of 4, in all honesty, it's very much an upper 2 out of 4. Still a 2 out of 4, but an upper 2 out of 4, like a 2.8 out of 4 or something like that kind of thing. As a whole, smoking a comically large cigar for the first time in today's video has been a great experience, and smoking this cigar right here for the first time in today's video has been a great experience. I certainly hope you guys have enjoyed watching this video where I smoked a comically large cigar for the first time. I certainly hope you guys have enjoyed watching my 300,000 subscriber special today as well. It's been a lot of fun to make this video. It's been a lot of fun to smoke a comically large cigar for the first time. And once again, I just want to go ahead and give a huge shout out to each and every single one of y'all for making the channel as, I'm trying to think of the right way to put it. Well, just thank you so much, y'all, for all y'all's support, all y'all's encouragement, all y'all's kind words. And thank you so much for making this channel something that I can do on a regular basis, that I can do literally every single day. Without y'all's support, I wouldn't be able to viably do this every single day. That's what I was trying to say. I wouldn't be able to viably do this every single day, and it's thanks to y'all that I am able to do this. So thank you so much to all y'all's support. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much for all y'all's support. I really do appreciate it. And yeah, I really do appreciate it. I'm not very good at saying thanks, as I said at the very beginning of this video, but I really do appreciate all y'all's support, and I hope that my thanks came across to a decent degree. And I certainly hope you guys have enjoyed watching my video where I smoked a comically large cigar for the first time. It's been a lot of fun to make. I think I'm gonna go ahead and take one more puff, and then after that, I think I'm gonna go ahead and end this video right there. Without further ado, let's go ahead and take the last puff of this cigar that I'm gonna have on video, and then after that, I'm gonna go ahead and end the video right there. But first, I gotta roll the outro. Well, thank you so much for watching this video, y'all. I certainly hope you guys have enjoyed watching this video. If you guys have enjoyed watching this video as a whole, where I smoked a comically large cigar for the first time for 300,000 subscribers, of course, please make sure to, well, like and subscribe for more content if you haven't already. And of course, also make sure to check out my Instagram, my book, my merch, my P.O. Box, and my second channel, all in the description down below. Go check it all out. To the next one, though, y'all, stay safe and peace, and have a great one. Yes, sir, you know what I'm saying?